Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. On today's menu, blood. Blood. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Justin here. As always, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today for a very special, very festive Thanksgiving-themed horror review today. We're going to be talking about the 1987 Thanksgiving classic, Blood Rage, aka Nightmare at Shadow Woods, aka Slasher. A movie centered around the themes of togetherness and love and family, but definitely not cranberry sauce.
That isn't cranberry sauce, Artie. That is not cranberry sauce. I see him.
Where?
Over there.
Where?
Blood Rage follows Maddie Simmons, a single mother to identical twins Terry and Todd, who were involved in a brutal murder at a drive-in theater. As Todd watched in horror, Terry buried a hatchet into the face of a man getting frisky in the backseat of his car. Not wanting to get caught, Terry smeared Todd in blood and blamed him for the murder. Clearly devastated, Maddie was forced to institutionalize Todd and try to pick up the pieces of her life with Terry. 10 years later, on Thanksgiving Day, Todd breaks out of the institution and Terry uses the escape of his brother as a cover to go on a brutal killing spree. Directed by John Grismer and featuring standout performances by Louise Lasser as Mandy, the mother of the twins, and Mark Soper as both twins Todd and Terry. The movie was filmed in 1983 in Jacksonville, Florida. It was released theatrically under the title Nightmare at Shadow Woods in 1987 in a censored cut which eliminated most of the film's elaborate gore special effects. It was subsequently released on home video under the title Blood Rage, though the opening credits still confusingly identify the film's title as Slasher. On December 15th, 2015, Arrow Films released the film on a 3-disc limited edition Blu-ray set, the first disc containing the original home version of Blood Rage, a commentary from director John Grismer. The second disc houses the other cuts of the film, Nightmare at Shadow Woods, and an alternate composite cut, combining the two cuts together. Now, when it comes to holiday-themed horror movies, you usually think of the two big holidays, Christmas and Halloween. But when it comes to Thanksgiving horror, Blood Rage is pretty much where it's at. There's a couple other movies here and there, Thanksgiving comes to mind, but Blood Rage is the king Thanksgiving movie. I'm wearing my shirt here, although it's a little tighter than it was last year. That's okay. Now, what makes this movie so unique is obviously that it's themed around Thanksgiving, which you really don't see too much of, but everything about this movie is just odd and bizarre. Everything down from the weird storyline to the bizarre performances, especially with Louise Lasser, the character who plays the mother. She is just unhinged in this movie once she learns that her son Todd has escaped from the mental institution. She just starts losing her mind, and she still believes that Terry is her good little boy, the one who actually committed the murder way back in the day.
Well, I'd say that this big bird is ready for carving.
There's many scenes of her in this movie just losing her damn mind. Everything from drinking heavily and making weird phone calls to sitting on the floor of her kitchen staring into the refrigerator just shoveling Thanksgiving leftovers into her mouth. Terry, in the subsequent years after committing the murder and blaming it on his brother, has taken on the role as doting son and successful college student, having a nice group of friends and his own little girlfriend who he doesn't seem to pay much attention to. But once he learns of his brother Todd's escape, he knows the jig is up. He knows he's going to be exposed for framing him from the murder, and he uses this as just an excuse to go on this murderous rampage and a bunch of really creative kills. The gore in this movie is so much fun. The original release, of course, took out a lot of these scenes, but now in the new version that I watched on Tubi, entitled Blood Rage, all of the gore and all of the carnage is intact, and it's just a ton of fun. Some of the kills are off-screen-ish, where they do strategic cuts when he's getting ready to, like do the action of the murder. But when they cut back to the bodies, it just looks amazing with these like decapitations, and this one body is ripped in half completely, but both halves of the body are still moving. There's a great scene of a dude getting his hand cut off. Bunch of really, really good gore, and I was actually surprised at how far they went with the gore, and thank God all these scenes are intact because they just looked great. Terry's committing all these crazy murders, and then they cut back to Todd, who looks slightly different. He's in a different outfit. Mark Soper portrays the dual role of Todd and Terry, the twin brothers. Mark Soper hasn't been seen in any films since 2002, but he appeared in a number of films in the 80s and 90s, including The Understudy, Graveyard Shift 2, and The In Crowd in the 80s, as well as 90s movies with John Travolta, Phenomenon, and Swordfish. But the main standout role for me, aside from Mark Soper, who portrayed Todd and Terry, is Louise Lasser. She plays Mandy, the the mother of the two boys. She had a really wacky life and career. She was married to Woody Allen for a while. She was in this pretty interesting looking satirical soap opera in the late 70s called Mary Hartman, which Shout Factory actually released on DVD. I want to check that out because it looks so damn weird. She was also in a 1985 movie, Crime Wave, which was actually directed by Sam Raimi and written by the Coen brothers. It also starred Bruce Campbell. A few years later, she was also in Frank Henenlotter's Frankenhooker as Jeffrey's mother, the main character's mother. She also had roles in the movie Happiness, the bizarre film from Todd Solondz, and Mystery Men. She was also in Requiem for a Dream. This movie also features an extremely unexpected and abrupt ending that I'm not going to spoil here that really shocks you the first time you watch it. But aside from the great kills and the bizarre performances, this movie also has an incredible synth soundtrack by Richard Einhorn. He also did amazing scores for films like Shockwaves, Don't Go in the House, The Prowler, Dark Tower. An amazing soundtrack. I'd love to pick it up on vinyl if it's available. This movie is jam-packed with everything that we love about 80s horror, from the great soundtrack, quirky and goofy dialogue, great performances, gore, good atmosphere. It's just a silly good time, and it's that rare Thanksgiving horror movie that you don't see too often. So I highly encourage you guys to check out Blood Rage, aka Nightmare at Shadow Woods, aka Slasher. It's a super fun time. You guys will have a good time. So after you finish your Thanksgiving dinner and eat your turkey, gather around the TV and watch Blood Rage, and you'll have a good time. I guarantee it. This is available on Tubi. That's where I watched it in its uncut version. I really want to pick up that limited edition Blu-ray. Eventually, I'll probably pull the trigger on that. It's pretty pricey on eBay. But thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this movie. I think we're done here, guys. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.